Do we have a sign-up sheet, Jackie?
Yes.
Good morning. We've got a couple minutes before the meeting starts. Anybody that wants to speak to a bill, if they come a sign-up sheet up front, sign up which bill you want to speak to and your name and who you're with. Well, good morning, everybody. It is 9 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. I'm going to ask Chairman Smith if he'll open in prayer. Y'all bow with us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lord, we do thank you for another beautiful day you've given us out there. And remember to please be with our families back home, be with our children and our grandchildren, keep them all safe. Help us to understand what your will is and what we can do to best please the citizens of our state of Georgia. And thank you for this time together. Lead, guide, and direct us in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. We do have 4 bills on the agenda this morning. I seen Representative Miles here. We're going to start with HB 1380. If he'll come to the table, and I'll turn the floor over to him.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you, Chair and Committee, for hearing my bill. I present Bill HB 1380, and we are going with a LC 394930. This is basically a bill that requires legislators to acquire a handicap placard on their legislative tag. I provided a copy of that. The tag itself, I talked last year. I talked to the chair about, and I went to the Automobile Association and the committee, and they really they made a tag for me, and this, if you had a copy of the tag, it's in your packet. The tag is basically allows a handicap sticker to be. Everybody have a copy of it? Right, okay, so it allows basically, as you see, a handicap placard to be on a legislative tag. And the reason for that, when I first came to this house, I'm a 100% disabled military veteran, and I have. So when I came to the house, they told me I had to choose between my handicap placard or a legislative placard, and I said, okay, I'm going to put the legislative placard on. But I've had some aunts with that. I've had several times. I've had my legislative placard, and I've been parking in a disabled parking spot. I've gotten 2 tickets that I had to go and get resolved. Even though I had my placard on the front, I got the tickets. And then a lot of times in my area, in my district, a lot of times I'm parked in a handicap space, and I get ready to walk off, and I have citizens that park to me and point to my tag, so that doesn't allow you to be parked in an area that I'm doing something illegal. So I mean, it just seemed to be would be an easier process to have a tag with legislators who are handicapped, who meet all the criteria otherwise for a handicap plate, to be able to apply for a legislative tag with a handicap sticker on it. That's basically what this does. And we've already done the work to actually create the tag, so that the expenses of creating it is already there. I've been told that they can print a certain amount of these. Normally I think it's 1,000 you have to print if you get a special tag, but they said they can lower that amount, and we can to accommodate. We've got a roughly 200 between retired legislators, there are about 520 of them there, and roughly about 7.9% of them might have disabilities that may be able to apply for this tag. I mean, it isn't a large amount, but it does alleviate a problem of having a concept of, first of all, they give you instant recognition. It's an instant ID. You know, you see that tag with a legislative tag on it with that placard on there, you automatically know that's a legislator with a disability. Policemen don't have to run a tag or do anything like that. It's an instant identifier. Other thing it does a lot more than help the people looking at it don't look like we legislators are disobeying the law, above the law. And it just erases that altogether. And it is not a very expensive one, and I just hope that your consideration to pass this particular bill, and I'm open for any questions.
Representative Miles, the longer you talk, the more questions we got. I don't know what that means, but and I'm probably going to regret this one. But I'm going to recognize Chairman Ridley.
Thank you.
How you doing, sir? Morning.
I just got a couple questions. So you still have to get a regular tag for a handicap. You got to go in and show where your doctor. Then you still have to do that on
The
this.
same for any process you would for any handicap tag.
Okay.
You have to do that. You have to go through the same procedure.
Okay. Well, and the reason I asked that is because I'm probably mentally handicapped, and I don't want somebody to stick this on my truck just because of opinions. All right. Thanks, sir.
All right, number 12, Representative Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for this bill. I remember when you first came in and we had this discussion, you were asking me about the plates. I thank you for bringing this bill. My question is the $25 manufacturing fee. Now, when we pay extra for our tags currently. Is this the same amount, or are you additional $25 for the manufacturing? Can you distinguish the cost?
Well, I spoke to him about that, but he said that normally it's the same cost. The cost would be for the manufacturing that particular plate, and you're going to pay that. You'll pay it. It wouldn't pay. You wouldn't have two costs. It would just be one for the.
Yeah, it wouldn't be in
pay.
addition to what
It
we
wouldn't be
pay
an
now for our
additional
legislator
cost, no.
tag.
Right.
It'd be
Okay, so the same
the
amount.
manufacturing
Same
fee
amount,
is
yes.
standard.
Right.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
All right, who had number 2, Chairman Prince.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for bringing this bill. Again, I signed off on it. Let me ask you a question. Do we not have handicap placards that you could, the same legislator could hang in his or her car,
Well, we do
like
have-
like everyone else, would possibly alleviate some of the cost?
Yeah, we do have placards that we can hang. Right now, I have a placard that I can hang in my car, but nevertheless, I still got 2 tickets.
Still got tickets?
I got one in up in Atlanta, part of Atlanta. I had to go in because sometimes in the windshield they can't see it. It's obstructed, or they can't see it properly because you can't hang it. These new cars, you can't hang it from your back window, your rear window. So sometimes they can't see it. And a lot of guys, you have them in there. I have them every time I park on a handicap space, but I've still had citizens look at me and point to me that I'm violating the law and I'm above the law. So I think this just a little bit.
Even when you have your placard?
Even when the placard is there, yes.
Number 19, Representative McLean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I guess, Representative Miles, you also said, too, that I guess the reason that you thought about it was a small number. That was my only concern is that there's 180 of us and 179 of us think we're not disabled. But maybe we are, but okay. All right. Well, so I'm just trying to, I just didn't want. I didn't know, and I heard about the cost too. Chairman Corbett. So I just wanted to make sure that no one thought we were doing something that was above the law, or that we were the elite class.
Well, if they see you with a legislative tags get some attention. I don't know. You all know that, right? I mean, policemen look at it, citizens look at it. They see those legislative tags. I've seen them stop a lot and look at when you park there. So, and if you're parked illegally, they're gonna look there and say, okay. I've had them look at that legislative tag and look at me and they point to me like I'm violating the law or something because I don't have a handicap sticker there. And it's not on annoying, but you don't want to get the impression that we out here, and I'm breaking the law, and I'm a legislator, and I can break the law because I have a legislator's tag. It just alleviates all of that confusion and so forth.
That was, thank you, for the bill. Again, I just wanted to make sure that, there's only, so many of us, and I didn't know if we met the threshold. So,
well, you say, I don't know when you say threshold.
Well, I say, that the minimum amount of tags that has to be built, be made.
Well, that amount, I talked to the people down there at Revenue, and they said that they can vary that amount. And we know that how many legislators we have currently and how many legislators we have retired. And there hadn't been an actual survey of how many of those who actually are handicapped. But the current population is about 7.9% of population. And we should fall somewhere in there, but it gives us about 50 or 60, maybe 70 at the most.
Well, again, thank you for the bill, and I'm looking forward to get me one of them tags.
You in too good a shape. You can't do that. We did have a request, and it's pretty well standard on the effective date on other bills we've passed, and DOR requests that we put an effective date of January 1, 2027. That gives them time to get everything they need done to set up to start issuing the tag. So I would entertain a motion on the bill. We got a motion on the bill and a second. Now I need a motion for the amendment on effective date. Do I have a second? Second. All right, all in favor of the amendment, change the effective date to January 1, 2027. All say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All right, now voting on the bill as amended. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. You have your bill.
Thank you. Thank you, Meady. Thank you, sir.
All right, now we will go back to House Bill 1073, the bill we've seen before, and we've got one small change. I'll ask Representative Carter, she'll come to the table and tell us what that small change that was made.
Good morning, committee. Good morning, Chairman. Thank you all for allowing me to come back in front of you. We are looking at HB 1073 LC 395003S. And we made a minor amendment to this legislation where we added the language, Jackson State University National Alumni Association Metro Atlanta Chapter. We want everyone to be certain that the funds were for Georgia students, and this for the Atlanta chapter, which is in Georgia.
And that's pretty much standard what we do with these other places as well, and I would just, so. Do we have any questions for the author? If not, now'll be the time. We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. No, this is not amended. This is a sub.
Okay.
All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign.
That's really good.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
All right. Now we're gonna move on to House Bill 1465. Representative McCullum. Is there anybody signed up to speak on that 1465? All right, if you would, Representative McCullum, tell us your bill number and the LC number, and we'll turn it over to you.
Good morning, committee. Good morning, Chairman. Thank you for having me. It's House Bill 1465 LC 394983.
Well, wait a minute. Time out.
Well, we have a sub. I'm sorry.
You don't have a copy of the sub?
I do not.
All right,
I'm sorry.
Let's get him a copy of the
Yeah.
the sub we got this morning.
Thank you.
All right, now let's start over.
All right, here we go. LC 395015S.
All right, what about that?
Ready?
Yes, the floor is yours.
So this bill's pretty simple. It removes the requirement for an annual license plate decal in Georgia. The bill modernizes our vehicle registration system. Law enforcement doesn't rely on these stickers any longer. They check with a database in the ALPR technology. It's a license to the cameras, essentially. This will save the state $4.6 million for not having to do these. And then my tax assessor brought this to me. She said it would save them a lot of labor. They have to buy these stickers 2 years in advance and store them. So they're just not necessary. Technologies outrun the stickers, essentially. That's pretty much the bill. It's very simple. It's a long bill because Ledge Council had to go through it, and I think there was 30 to 40 strikes she had to make. So I made Jenna do a lot of work on this bill. She was super happy when I brought it to her. So, but that's the bill. I'll stand for any questions.
If I read this, thank you for bringing the bill. If I read this right, it also saved the car owner $1 a year. They won't have to pay that dollar fee
That's right.
as well,
Yes,
right?
yes.
All right, and then you said other states have done this. So did you speak to that?
Florida has done this. I don't know where they got their number unless our department. They said that it was $26 million savings to them. So their process might be a little bit different. But this estimate that DOR got was just a rough estimate. They just kind of put it together. So, but still, $4.6 million is a good savings. Yeah.
Would DOR like to comment, or y'all everything awesome? Would you like to make a comment?
We just, Austin Gibbons, Department of Revenue, we just want to thank Representative McCollum for working with us. Yes, the estimate was about $4.6 to $4.9 million in terms of cost savings on what we spent on these decals in calendar year 2025.
Do you have any questions for DOR? If not, thank you. All right, we've got several questions for the author. Where do we start here? Number 19, Representative McLean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess, I need to wrap my head around, so no more little bitty decals, one, and two, so when I go to Kroger and those places that print my little decals and stuff out, I guess we're going to have to abolish all those. I'm just trying to figure out exactly how this works.
So when you go to Kroger, again, my tax assessor said that they have to use a special paper. So now when you go to Kroger, you're just going to renew it. They'll print out the paper, and that's all you'll have. That's all you need. You don't need the sticker any longer. It's just not necessary.
So so people will drive around without a sticker, and so you're saying everybody's going to read everybody's car, and you're not going to know if I paid my registration. Well, for now, there's two colors. So if you're born in, say, April, your color is, let's just say, red. Well, the person that's born in June, their color might still be white. So the officers don't necessarily, they can't see the little date on there unless they walk up to the vehicle. So the colors aren't corresponding anyway. They're not going to just pull you over because you have a red one, because yours might still be active and yours be a different color. I don't know how that is, because my tag has like 26 on it. All of the 26, all 26 tags, the decals are the same color.
Right.
They're not red or blue. They just, if it's 26. If it's 25, they were all the same color. I'm just trying to make sure that.
I think that depends on the month.
That's right.
Mine's in September, and when I put it on it this year, say 27.
Mm-hmm.
It'll still be 26, but
okay. So the 27 is a different color.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of when you got it, it was always the same color. Of the year. So whatever color you got for 27, that's what color we're going to have in 27.
But I'll actually put it on in 26, and it'll say 27. It'd be good to say. But anyway,
I like. I just wanted to make sure I understood
right.
around. So the machines, the investments they made on those machines will not be any good anymore.
No, you still can renew. You're still going to have to renew your tag. So you can go. You just won't get the sticker when that prints out. So the machines will have a different paper in there, which is a lot cheaper for the counties as well.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I did just get a text from a good friend in the audience that Florida just passed this measure.
That's right.
So, but anyway, we do have several other questions. Number 23, Representative Montahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Representative McCollum, for bringing the bill. I have a couple questions. I'll start with this. So you're going to replace it with, you're eliminating that. Are you replacing the revalidation sticker with anything else? Is it, for example, a barcode that can be scanned?
Well, that would be nice, but no, this bill just removes that. I mean, an officer's going to come up behind you and he's just going to run your tag. Then he just uses the big number on your tag anyway with his computer in his car. I would venture to say pretty much all officers have a computer in their car now, and they can just type it in while they're riding behind you.
Do we know that all officers have these? I would presume too. I'm from in Paulding. I know they do. Both, county and cities do. But have we talked to the Georgia Sheriff's Association about where are they at on this bill?
Well, I talked to the colonel with the State Patrol, and he said they run the tag, or they have the automated cameras. And then the Sheriff's Association, I talked to them and kind of explained it to them. They didn't get back to me in a negative way.
They did get back to you?
They didn't. Mm-mm. They didn't get back to me in a negative way.
Did they get back to you at all?
No, we haven't discussed it.
Okay.
But I figured if they had an issue, they would come and see me.
Okay.
Will these license plate readers that they have in their car now, is it scanning the barcode on this revalidation sticker, or is it reading the tag
It
itself?
reads the full tag.
Tell me about Florida's, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Tell me about Florida's model. You mentioned Florida has done away with that. So did they replace it with a barcode?
No, not that I know of, but the cost savings would not be there if you're going to replace it with something different. But to their point, I read a little bit about the article. They said in Miami they're getting stolen a lot anyway. So, these things get stolen and you just put it on another car.
The stickers are getting stolen.
That's correct.
Okay. So could they pre-print some type of bar? I guess I'm just worried about, one, the re-verification. It's an easy indicator for law enforcement to see that this person has not renewed their tag. Though I, from time to time, loathe it myself because if you got a check engine light on, right, you're stuck and it's going to tell on you. But I do think, and I might have some reservations given the fact that I know this is a tool that law enforcement can use to make sure visibly that person has a renewed registration. And as we've had conversations about stolen vehicles and otherwise, this is something that I would have some reservations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, respond would be, technology's just outrun these. Like my grandmother, she don't use a cell phone, these new fangled cell phones either. So, technology just changes and it outruns these, things.
All right, Representative Ridley, 24.
Thank you. I want to thank you for this bill. Whitfield County, Danny Sane there, I think they issue the most license tag other than the airport. Because all the trucking and all that stuff, and that's always been a big issue that he's had, is the cost of it is kind of overwhelming what the residual is on it. And then you take a trucking company or something that has to go out there and stick all the little stickers on there. And I know, like my old work trucks, you spill diesel fuel out the back of them, those stickers won't stay on there too long. They fall off. So I appreciate you bringing the bill, and it's something that I think we should have been doing a while back.
All right.
Well, I will respond to that. The DOR did so they did exclude out the trucks.
Okay.
So maybe that's something we
On the
can tackle in
commercial
future.
side?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number 12, Representative Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So on our plates, there are the little four corners. Is this bill going to impact how the tag's being designed? Are we going to have new tag designs, and that going to incur a cost?
No, I mean, there's so many different tags out there now. I mean, and I'll go one step farther. I'd love to see legislation that we just continue using your old tag over and over again if if you have a tag, but that's something obviously different. But we've got, so many different tags. I mean, it feels like, so.
Well, I appreciate you bringing the bill, because as you were sitting here talking, it dawned on me. I renewed mine in September, and I have a cover over my plate, and I haven't put my decal on this year, and that was in September of last year. So
maybe you won't have to worry about it.
Really, right? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Number 22, Representative Chairman Smith. 22.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'd look at the example from a previous bill that we had, you'd see that tag right there at the bottom, and
No barcode.
no barcode on there.
No.
And so I know it's important to some people, but they're reading the big tag. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Number 23, Representative Montahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just talking with some folks out here. I think the Sheriff's Association folks are here today. Could they speak to the tag readers? I don't know that.
Yeah, I got somebody else wants to speak as well.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Former rep, our good friend Micah Gravely, I think he's got some information on this as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Yes, Representative McCollum is correct. Florida just passed this bill. I believe it was House Bill 253. It was an overwhelming majority. I believe the vote was 93 to 17. This is a measure that is supported by Governor DeSantis. And let me tell you why. The reason for this bill was to eliminate the requirement for the annual yellow registration sticker. The sticker that all of you see and that Representative Smith just put up, it's the green sticker. You have to get it in the mail or apply for it. The reason they wanted to do this was to save taxpayer money, and because that they're trying to reduce bureaucracy, and they're also moving to a fully electronic system. Now, I'm not speaking on behalf of law enforcement, but what it does is it removes the requirement for the physical yearly validation stickers, but owners must still renew, which is what law enforcement would see on those tag readers. They would see whether or not this owner is renewed immediately upon figuring out if they read that tag. Law enforcement already uses electronic systems for verification, and this move aims to reduce cost and fraud. So I just wanted to speak to those particular issues of why Florida did this.
Thank you for that, and I'll ask the Sheriff's Association if they'd like to speak to that as well.
Yes, sir. Good morning, committee. My name is Mike Mitchell. I'm the Deputy Director at the Georgia Sheriff's Association. I would challenge each of you as you're out and about to look at the number of law enforcement vehicles that have tag readers mounted on them. There are very few. I would caution this committee about getting too far out in front of the technology. If this is a path that the General Assembly wishes to take, I would say let's let technology catch up here in Georgia before we roll this out, because I can tell you that most law enforcement vehicles do not have these tag readers, and we just can't be running tags for no reason through the radio system. So I would just say, I would just caution the committee about getting too far ahead. And I will say that decals also serve as a very good reason for a stop, just as Representative Montahan mentioned. It's good PC for a stop. So if we see a decal that is obviously out of date, that's good PC for a stop for us. So I would just make those two comments. We do have concerns about this bill. I'm not here to oppose it, but we did express some of these concerns to the representative when he brought it to our attention.
Can you speak to the number of flock cameras that are out there that are reading these tags? I know the county I live in, you can't go down a highway without your tag being read. I mean, if they come into the county and it's out of date, they have them pulled over before they get to the 2 miles inside the county.
Yeah, and flock cameras are not designed to pick up on expired tags or suspended registration. They're looking for hits on tags that are placed in the system where we've got a BOLO out for a vehicle. So we're not, the tag readers on the cars do that, but I don't think flock's currently being used for that.
I would, our I know somebody that was pulled over for expired registration twice before they made it all the way, into the county.
That must be something recent. Yeah.
All right, we got several other questions here. Chairman? All right.
You said that y'all use these for probable cause. Or correct?
Well, reasonable suspicion.
Reasonable suspicion, but that's not the law.
Just law enforcement slang, we call it PC. But yeah, I mean, you gotta have reasonable suspicion to make a stop.
Right, but just pulling somebody over just using it because their sticker, you're supposed to be pulling them over because you're worried about their driving or something like that, right?
I worried about that sticker quite a bit. I can tell you I made a lot of stops based on expired decals. I certainly did, and that usually leads to no insurance.
How many counties, because I can't think of a single county that don't have a tag reader in their cars.
I can think of several.
Well, how are they pulling people over then?
Well, typically it's off of an expired decal, for example. It could be other reasonable, other traffic violations that are pulling folks over.
Okay. I'm more now. I want to get rid of them now, but more than ever.
Number 2, Chairman Prince.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To your point, is it not true that if a police officer pulls someone over, they have means, reach back if they don't have the tag reader themselves on them, to call back and have a tag run?
Yeah, I mean, you run a tag as part of a traffic stop.
Right, and then at that time, they should be able to tell them if that tag is valid or not. Is that correct?
Correct. But we don't go around running tags.
I thought I heard you just say you did.
No, we don't. I mean, no.
You would pull someone over if you saw you think an unexpired sticker.
Correct.
But you wouldn't run that tag.
It's either expired or it's not.
Correct.
So,
but my question is, would you not run that tag if you thought it was, if you saw a expired?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
at that time, wouldn't technology or whoever you reach back to tell you that, verify if that tag is expired or not?
Correct.
So the pulling over for an expired tag or sticker, I ain't gonna say tag.
Right.
Is I'm not sure. Look, okay, I'll let it go.
All right. We're going to take one more question, and then we're going to move on for sake of time. Representative Montahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Mr. Mitchell. The question is, I think we're talking about the chicken or the egg, correct? So you see one of these expired tags, one that does not have a sticker on it. You pull this person over, then you run that tag through the computer system or something, or you called in on your radio, whatever that county may have. Not every county has these tag readers. Those are new technology. But I think as we're having these discussions about affordability, that you have found in your experience that typically this lack of registration is tied to no insurance on the vehicle, or could be. There could be a strong correlation between no. Because if you don't have insurance, you cannot renew the tag. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
So as we're having these discussions about affordability, isn't it true that we need to make sure that if all Georgians are required to have insurance, that we have a easy, visible way to make sure that they have the insurance on the vehicle, that then the registration is renewed at that point in time, and it sets a shot clock to make sure that every year Georgians have an easy indicator to know that within the last 12 months they have had some insurance on that vehicle. Because if I get hit by somebody who doesn't have insurance, my insurance has to pay them out, and that could cause my insurance rates to go up. Isn't it true?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we will take two more. Representative Ridley.
Yeah, let me respond to that. First of all, the way it works right now, if you don't have insurance, it cancels your tag. And you get a letter in the mail, they get a notice too. The only way they know you don't have insurance is because they're running on a tag reader. That's where you get pulled over for not having the insurance. And whenever you get the driver's license when pulled over, it tells if your insurance is current or not.
All right, we're going to move on. I think we've heard enough debate on this subject. I will ask, what's the will of the committee? I don't recognize that motion.
I make a motion to pass.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, like sign. No. All right, that's 2 against, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, we have one other measure. Always a good way to start off a Monday morning. House Bill 184, Chairman Lumsden. I know.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I bring to you House Bill 184, LC number 394999S. Now, this is a substitute bill that brings the rules and procedures around the involuntary towing industry in Georgia up to date with practices around the country, and most notably with our border states. This has been a collaborative effort between the affected parties, namely the towing industry, the rental car industry, the Georgia magistrate judges, and the Georgia Department of Revenue. This bill has been worked on by the affected parties for over a year. This is compromise language that all parties have agreed to in principle. There may be a few more tweaks to the bill, but this is an acceptable framework as I understand it. This bill does several things. First, we already have a code section covering this, but it changes a few things in that code section. Primarily, it creates a towed vehicle database. Section 1 through 4 covers its creation and its operation, and it requires that the VIN number of the towed vehicle be entered into this database and that the database be accessible to the public so that they may obtain information about the vehicle's location. This database may be operated by a third party, but it's all done in conjunction with the Department of Revenue. They have been involved in these discussions. It changes the number of days from 15 calendar days down to 7 days from the removal of initial storage of a motor vehicle. A towing or storage firm has to notify the owner of the vehicle that it's been towed. It removes the required notification in the local legal organ of the county where the vehicle was towed by purchasing an advertisement, and it stipulates that the vehicle owner is not subject to pay any storage fees for days accumulated before the owner is notified, and that to collect such fees, the tower or the storage company have to comply by the notification regulations in this code section. It further stipulates that the owner of the vehicle may file an answer to the notice no later than 30 calendar days after notice was sent. Mr. Chairman, that's the basic changes to the existing law. That's what the bill does. I believe there are representatives from the affected parties that are present here today and would like to make some comments, but this has been an ongoing discussion, as I said, for a year, and you, of course, have been involved in it. So I'll be glad to answer any questions that I can, but I also have some folks here, I believe, that want to make some comments, and they might be able to address the specifics of your question if I can.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for bringing the bill, and thank you for your willingness to work with both sides to get together to try to come up with something that works, and I think we're close to that, but time's getting short in the session, so we did need to move hard and get any questions out there that we might have. Number 28, Chairman Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Chairman Lunston, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you bringing this bill up here. I think that Chairman Corbett and I have worked on this issue several times over the years on behalf of the impoundment lots and the lengthy process and notification to the owners of a vehicle, and it just goes on and on and on. Derelict vehicles that are sent to these lots, that there's nothing except just a loss of revenue for these folks. This will finally start putting some teeth into it to give some some rational process to this. And I want to thank you for bringing this bill. And since time is getting short, I'll be glad to make a motion at the proper time.
Yeah, well, we do have another question, and we do have some members signed up who would like to speak to it. Number 19, Representative McCall.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess on line 32, you said calendar days. I didn't understand what that, was that like Friday, Saturday, Sunday? I didn't. On line 32.
Right. That was a change. As I said, that was an agreed upon consideration, as I understand it, because making clear that it was 3 consecutive days, 3 calendar days, not 3 business days.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're not open on Saturday and Sunday, so that.
As I said, this was a concession.
But this
that was,
database is 24/7.
Yeah, the database.
Where
once it's-
before, the old way, you had to go to the courthouse, the sheriff's office to find out who the owner was. And this database, I think, will be 24/7, the way I understand it. So
Right.
I think the change to the 3 calendar days to speed that clock up for everybody.
Okay. Well, I guess 964 was the same reason you went from 15 calendar days to 7 days. So you did the. So are these 7 business days or calendar days? I didn't know if, and that was line 64. Are that calendar days or that business days?
I'm not sure what the purpose of that particular tweak was. As I said, it was.
And I think we have some.
I think we have some
signed up
right.
to speak on it. They can talk to that measure if you.
Okay.
We can ask them if that.
I just didn't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
in my mind, it should either read 7 business days or calendar days. It needs to be specified. But as I said, the language that was agreed upon or was put in the bill, and as I said, there are a few more tweaks that may come about. This is a basic framework that's been agreed to, but there are a few more tweaks that may come about as a result of it.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right, so we have Rusty Sewell, if he'll come to the podium, tell us who he's with, and
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I want to thank you and Chairman Lusford who have been working on this for a long time. As Chairman Powell said, we spent an arduous year working on this a few years ago. It's hard to do. I also want to thank Legislative Counsel's office, because what we gave Jenna, she had to put together, and some of the questions like y'all are asking there, these are the little technical things that we need to get together and work out, and that's what we're trying to do.
I'm sorry, tell us who you're representing.
Enterprise,
right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do here, basically 2 things: allow people whose cars have been towed an easy, quick way to find out where they are, whether their businesses, your own personal car or whatever, they know where they are. Secondly, also hopefully streamline the system, which allows towers, particularly, there are some cars, and we've talked about this, there are like 15% of the cars that they end up with that nobody is ever going to want. I mean, they're there, and we need a process to hopefully get them off their lots and move them along fairly quickly. So those are the 2 big things, but as the chairman has said, we're working on this, and hopefully we'll again work on it today and hopefully be back to y'all fairly quickly with the changes. I've never seen a perfect bill in my 50 years here. Don't intend to, and we will work it out as it goes along.
Okay, and I didn't say earlier, this hearing only, we will have it again in the morning, 8 o'clock meeting on this measure as well. So do we have any questions for Mr. Sewell? Number 12, Representative Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I keep seeing the word submission, but is this electronic submission?
Yes.
So the towing companies or those third-party companies are literally going to a computer and inserting this into the database?
That is correct. We're copying mainly Florida, Tennessee. There are other states that do this also, and what the Department of Revenue does is contract with a third party so that they have access to the records and all. But what would happen is somebody comes along, tows your car, then within those 3 days, they're going to notify or send in the VIN number so that to find out whose car it is. Also, that on that repository, it will be there. So if you need to try to find your car, you will have a number to call or email whatever them, and that they can find. But it is totally.
I like the idea of having a database. It's just all going to be electronic. That's the only way they can submit this information.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, seeing no further questions, we do have another couple more signed up to speak. John Clayton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm John Clayton, and I'm here on behalf of TRAG, the Towing and Recovery Association of Georgia. I have with me Steve Welchel. He is president of the Towing and Recovery Association of Georgia. We represent over 150 towing companies across the state of Georgia. 2 years ago, Enterprise came to us with a problem they had about getting their cars back in a timely fashion. We've been working with them over the past 2 years on a compromise bills with language that we think would benefit us and would allow them to achieve their goals of obtaining their car in a timely manner. Pardon me, excuse me. We do have some concerns with the bill. We did work with them to provide this framework. There's a number of things we would like to work out before we got this in final form. I know we've talked to them about that. We hope we can get there. I can briefly go over some of those concerns with y'all if y'all would like. And I'll try to be quick. I know that we're going to be here tomorrow, and tomorrow I will have, unfortunately, we didn't have the attorney for TRAG that typically handles a lot of our abandonment or vehicle issues. And we also, we're going to bring Phil Howard, who teaches the class on how to get towing companies on how to conform with this law. Just briefly, some of the questions that we've had. Section 2, and I think we'll work with the Enterprise and the courts about this today, but we really need some clarity on what DOR's role is in the process. We understand what the database is. It'd be an instance where any car that we towed, we would enter the VIN into that database, and if your car has been towed, you can enter that VIN in to find where your car is located. That would be the general utility of that database. As far as from the towing industry, you know, we're paying to insert our car into that system. We would like a cap fee to a certain extent. It makes sense if it's something we can afford, but if it gets to be an exorbitant fee for us to have to pay to put every car in the system, it gets a little bit trying on the fact of our ability to really want to do that. When we talk about, if you look at Section 3, and really in Section 4, we talk about 3 calendar days. We've changed that from 3 business days to calendar days. We would ask that the committee consider going back to business days on that. And to answer a question I think the committee had, in this code section, if it's silent, it automatically defaults to business days, not calendar days. So I think where we saw earlier, we were changing the 15 calendar days down to 7 days. That by default, that is 7 business days. Just a couple other questions we've had through the process, and a lot of these I'm going to allow tomorrow if we can when our attorney comes here. He really does the abandoned motor vehicle issues on that. I'll let him speak to that. But I will say there has been a very good compromise effort. We've met plenty of times on this issue. We hope that we can get to a position that we can all agree on. We do have some concerns, as I've said, but at this point I'm more than happy to answer any questions the committee may have.
Okay, I don't see any further questions. We have one other speaker.
That's Mr. Welchel here beside us.
Okay, Mr.
That's okay.
I'm good.
Okay, we do have a question. Number 2, Chairman Prince.
Thank you. And you say you guys have some issues to work out. Now, we're talking about meeting tomorrow.
Our intent is to meet after this meeting. So we've talked all sides on that.
Yeah, and go ahead.
No, again, I just wanted to make sure we're not going through the same stuff tomorrow morning, trying to work it out. So if there's anything else that, I mean, you noted 2 things in Section 2 and Section 4. I mean, is there anything else major we need to know that you guys are trying to work or that you need help with?
Section 2 is going to, that would help us get some clarity. I think that
yeah,
really
you
is
mentioned
just,
those 2, but anything else? But you say you had a bunch of others. I mean, do you?
Yeah, we got this on Thursday. There's one other change I think is important to us is once the database gets put in place, the towing companies would request 1 year to come into compliance, and that would be with all vehicles.
Compliance. All right, seeing no further questions, we do have somebody here with DOR I'd like to ask to come up and speak to this measure as to DOR's role in this. So if Joe Snowden, if he'll come to the podium and.
Hey, good morning, Chairman and members of the committee. Joe Snowden with the Department of Revenue. I don't have much to say on the bill at the moment. As the gentleman said, we'll be meeting after this to discuss a little further. Obviously, the biggest portion of our role in this has to do with the creation and maintenance of a database. At this moment, we think that would probably be through RFI and RFP. We'd have to go through a process to procure that. But in my initial conversations with this group, I know there were some concerns about the towers themselves being able to use the database. I know that there are some models in the more rural areas where a lot of these towing, companies don't necessarily have the most access to internet and computers, right? So that's just something that we'll have a continuing discussion on with them and figure out what's best for their group.
This third party, they would set the fee for this?
That's my understanding. Obviously, within the bill, it lets us make rule and reg by October 1 to sort of effectuate that. And I think I don't want to misspeak and say something that they're not comfortable with, so I definitely want to get with them again and really understand the process for what they want with this towing database before I go too deeply into it.
Okay, number 12, Representative Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And you touched on what my concern was, that there was the limitation to uploading this information to the database being strictly electronic. And so, from your perspective as DOR, what do you propose or do you surmise that there's going to be a cost factor for you to make this, to introduce this system and to staff it to maintain?
I don't think there would be too large of a cost on the DOR end. Usually when we have a third-party system, right, the in-house costs are sort of maintained by them. I think a lot of that will have to do with information sharing when it comes into that RFI and RFP, because we do have not incredibly sensitive, but sensitive motor vehicle data that they would need access to. So that's definitely a consideration, but not really on the forefront of our concern right now.
And Mr. Chairman, if I may, and I think somebody asked the question about the third party. So the fees, if you're a small towing company and you're required to report to this database and you have to, you can't afford a third party company to do this work for, even if you could, is there a limit as to how much, is that going to be part of the conversation today?
So absolutely.
Okay.
We would not move forward with anything that they were not comfortable with. And that this really, obviously we are the administrators to a portion of this if this bill were to pass, and our only goal is to make sure that, both sides of the party are happy between the rental companies and the towing companies and everybody else in between. But we'll definitely, right after this, be having a continuing discussion to make sure that everybody's where they want to be with the potential outcome of that system.
Awesome. I look forward to the amended version in the morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. I want to thank everybody for coming today, being here. Good questions, good meeting. This time, the meeting is adjourned. We will meet again at 8 o'clock in the morning, right here. We'll pick this bill up in the morning. Hopefully, everybody gets to a good place on this, and then House Bill 1267 will be on in the morning.